What's going on, guys? Sean here. Today I want to, make a video talking about something in Destiny 2 that's going to be inevitable, and that is the removal of the Reef and Dreaming City locations, specifically the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City. Now, we do know that, weapon sunsetting has been sunsetted, but we also know that Bungie is pretty locked on keeping the Destiny Content Vault. If you don't know what the Destiny Content Vault is, basically they rotate locations, activities, specifically PvE activities, out of the game to maintain the, make sure the game doesn't exceed a certain size, as well as making sure the world of Destiny is coherent and accessible to all players, and has, they basically just maintain the core structure of the game and make sure it doesn't go all crazy and out of whack like it was before. So again, I like the Content Vault, but again, it may be very, detrimental to some people and hurt their experience. So today we're going to be talking about the Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore, two locations in the Reef that I honestly think are going to be removed from Destiny 2 when the Witch Queen drops spring 2022. Now, this video is also inspired from a Paul Tassi article. He kind of made me think about it, and we're going to go into some lore reasons of why this is definitely the case. I know he does in his article, linking it down below. I'm not going to be referencing anything really from that article, but it's a good read. If you guys have a subscription to Forbes, you can definitely read this unlimitedly. But if you guys don't, you may or may not be able to read the article. Depends on how long or how many articles you read from Forbes. They have a weird thing. But yeah, getting on to why the Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore need to be removed. Well, there needs to be something that happens, an impactful thing to the world for Destiny 2 in terms of when the Witch Queen arrives. Savathun has been in the shadows planning and orchestrating a lot of things in this game since the beginning, and it's kind of something that we have to see play out. When she comes into play, it's going to be one of the biggest things ever, as it is standing by the lore and things in that nature. But from what the Season of Chosen has showed with, Destiny's story and lore, Caiatl is a great representation of what the Awoken and those in the Tangled Shore and the Reef have in store, because Zero Wrath, the story of how the Cabal lost their homeworld, is in many ways what we should expect to see firsthand, hopefully within a season of, Destiny 2. But Savathun and Zero Wrath making their play and doing some destructive damage to the world is something we need if a big player like Savathun comes around. Now, every expansion has something big. Beyond Light had the removal of a lot of locations due to the darkness, and it created this massive calamity, and we were worried and all these different things. So the lore and the narrative going on in the game, it makes sense for the Tangled Shore and the Reef to be a victim. They have their connections to the Taken, and that whole location has the curse, and all these other things really connected to what's going on in the world. Now, another thing too, it's important to look at what the content in the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City offers to what the game is right now. And I'm not knocking anything from the Forsaken, but it's definitely outdated. There's not a lot of things that is really relatable to the world we are in now. We have the darkness, we have stasis, we have all these different things. And a lot of things and activities are revolving around Earth. A lot of my favorite modes and experiences and lore bits and story bits are on Earth, and it's really fascinating to see that. Now, Nessus has come back into play as well. I'm intrigued to see if the moon comes back into play. I really hope so, but the moon is starting to get a little outdated and very disconnected from the overall world. So again, it's Europa, the Earth and Nessus are taking the forefront of the world story. It's really the main focus of what's going on now. We don't know what's going to happen next season, where we're going to be going and things of that nature, and seeing the return of the Vault of Glass. What does that mean? All these other things are definitely up in the air, and maybe we do get a return and some significance in the Reef and the Tangled Shore. But, from a narrative perspective and from a mechanical perspective, Tangled Shore and specifically just the Forsaken expansion is really disconnected from the world going on. The Crow is redeemed. He is on the side of the Vanguard, and the Vanguard has seemingly accepted him. So Uldren Solve and the story of Forsaken and him killing Cade is something to know about, but we're way beyond that, and that might cause confusion. That might be a little disconnected and like, what is this shit? And there's a lot of things that Forsaken offers that are great. I think it's one of the best expansions to ever come out, but it's kind of been time to remove it. Now, another thing too is if we are going to be getting a brand new location, and Europa is pretty massive in my opinion. It's a pretty massive location, and I do want to see Bungie continue to bring in these massive locations to explore. The Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City are pretty big themselves. If you remove that, you can bring in Old Chicago, which is, rumored and, theorized to be the new location for the Witch Queen, which I definitely want to see. Ever since the concept of Old Chicago has, been seen from my eyes, I've been so intrigued by that location. I want to see it. So if we get a massive location like Old Chicago, the Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore are locations to be removed. Now, narratively, maybe the Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore get a happy ending, but as it stands now, from what we know from Caiatl and what Savathun did to the Cabal homeworld, with obviously what Ziggler Wrath specifically did with her armies, it is going to be a show. Bungie is really narratively on a roll. Hopefully they continue their in-game presentation of the narrative within the game from Season Chosen onward. I mean, we could hope for it to be longer throughout the season, but yeah, in general, guys, this is kind of just why I'm thinking that the Tangled Shore and the Reef are, again, gonna be the next locations. It's pretty obvious at this point. Now, I could be wrong. It could be another location. It could be the moon. It could be, I don't know, maybe Nessus. I don't know specifically, but we're going to be losing locations, and I think the Dreaming City and the Reef are pretty, or Reef as a whole is pretty obvious. So if you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, definitely drop this video a like. And for more Destiny 2 videos, if you guys are new here and you guys enjoy, definitely hit that subscribe button. We also subscribe for Warzone and anything in that nature. But with that being said, that's all I got for this one. Sharon G here, and I'm out.